Good morning and welcome. Happy Hump Day, Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Joe Jaquin, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group. Legal, lawful, constitutional tender, wealth insurance. We've been doing this. This is, 22? I don't know how to do math very well. It's either 22 or 23 years that we've been right here coming to you day in, day out. We are 100% self-support. In other words, we don't have any sponsors. We don't have anybody behind us. It is all based on our great customers. When you order from us, that's what keeps us here. What a day we had yesterday. Our opening of the Colorado office and our very first show in Colorado. The new show, I should say. Obviously, we've been in Colorado for 22 years. The new show at 3 o'clock Colorado time, 2 o'clock Arizona time. Today, make sure you tune in. We have heated things up to launch the new program. I'll just tell you right now, U.S. Silver Eagles, and you know how undervalued silver is. We have dropped it down to the bare bones. By the way, silver's up at 25 cents right now. $3.75 a roll as we kick off the new Colorado office. By the way, silver $16.45. That's like $2.30 over spot. You're not going to beat it anywhere. 800-951-0592. Before we get to this, we got a lot of stuff to cover. Had a big day today in gold, big day in silver, but we knew that was coming. We got the Federal Reserve and the press conference. We're going to get there. And I apologize because this is something, Phoenix, you've had this all the time, right? We're here in Phoenix. You guys can come and pick up products here. Here's how it works. For all of our customers in Colorado, especially those of you that have been listening to this show for years but haven't done business with us, now you can. You call the 800 number. You order from Phoenix. There is a reason for that. Mainly has to do with sales tax issues where you don't have to pay for sales tax. You order from us here. Then Jason, who runs our office up there in Colorado, Jason will call you to schedule an appointment. We are not a coin store. It's not what we do. There's a reason for that. One, it has not that coin stores are bad. There's nothing wrong with them, but they attract a certain element that we don't want to attract, number one. Number two, when you do business with us, we value your privacy. So you won't be in there trying to do business with, 5, 6, 7 other people staring you down. So everything is going to be by appointment only. For those of you, if you're a regular customer, you absolutely can pay when you pick up. Right? Phoenix does that. Phoenix knows that. They've done it for years. If you're a brand new customer, you're either going to have to pay when cash or you mail the check here. Once the check clears, you can go pick up your products in Colorado. But once you become a customer of ours, you absolutely can pick up your product in Colorado. Or if you want, you can pay cash. If you bring a cashier's check, that's the same thing. You can also pay and go, if you will. 800-951-0592. I can honestly tell you that I know when I first started here 15 years ago, this was maybe we were probably I'm going to guess because I don't per se, but I think we're right around $2 over spot in silver, and then of course silver took off, and we've never seen it again. $2.25 over spot for rolls of U.S. Silver Eagles today. $3.75. Are you kidding me? We're going to kick it off big time here. 800-951-0592. Everybody expecting a rate hike, but guess what? It's now about really what's important out there. We're going to get to what it is. Big thing coming 5 days from today. Something that is going to be very interesting. We haven't seen this. We haven't experienced it. What is it going to do? How is it going to affect the dollar? How is it going to affect the bond market? How is it going to affect what the rest of the world and how the rest of the world holds their reserve currency 5 days from today? That's big news. We've got trade war, they call it trade war, heating up with the Chinese. There's a big announcement coming out of the White House tomorrow. In the across the pond over in England is expected to raise rates tomorrow. All of that overshadowing the dollar. The dollar on a day where everybody expects there to be a rate hike. The dollar is actually down today. Gold's up $13 right now. Silver's up, like I said, 25, 26 cents. And I think there's a lot more coming. 800-951-0592. Rolls of U.S. Silver Eagles. There's 21-ounce Silver Eagles in a roll. They're $375. We do have supply in stock in both locations, and we will restock very, very quickly. So $375 a roll at 800-951-0592. We talked about there being the bottom. I told you the other day, hey, I think we already hit it, and today it looks like we have. We'll be back right after the break. 800-951-0592. Arlene just got off the phone, so she's ready for your calls. Rolls of U.S. Silver Eagles, but something with $2.30 over spot. I mean, really, I can tell you this. We've never done them this in the last 10 years. Never this close to spot. I know Eric used to tell me stories, going way back. He's old, but he'd tell me stories of the old days when you could buy rolls of U.S. Silver Eagles for like $1.25 over spot, something crazy like that. That's kind of like the new rock bottom here at $2.25, $2.30 over spot today. U.S. Silver Eagles $375, and I think we're setting up for a very, very big move in both gold and silver. Yes, there's going to be a rate hike today, and yes, they're going to act like anything Jay Powell says is going to be earth-shattering news. It's not. Here's what's really happening. Why is gold moving today? Why is silver moving? Why is the dollar down? And the answer really is simple, because the amount of control that we have continues to diminish. 5 days from today, the Chinese are going to enter into the world markets, giving the rest of the world a new alternative to holding dollars. And it starts with those crude oil contracts. So we've talked about this now since, December? On March 26th, they are opening contracts. Remember, J.P. Morgan is going to be the clearing bank here in the United States, right? They're all ready to go. It's on. The Shanghai International Energy Exchange will start trading oil future contracts denominated in the Chinese yuan, Chinese renminbi, whatever you want to call it, rather than U.S. dollars. Now, what is that going to mean? What does that mean? This is huge. And it's huge in the fact that now, if you decide that you want to hold, and look at it this way, we got $21 trillion of debt. We're adding, what's the number? $1.5 trillion, $2 trillion a year. And we know by 2020 the real debt number is going to exceed $2 trillion a year. We're going to have debt levels that are 5, 6, 7% of GDP in 10 years, barring a catastrophe, which we probably won't be able to do. But barring a catastrophe, we'll pay $1 trillion a year just on interest on the debt. And we know about the dollar cycle, right? As we've decided as a nation that we wanted central bankers in control. Well, we didn't want it. We were told, we were spoon-fed, we were brainwashed into thinking this is what we want. And at first, the debt just went up a little bit. Right? Just a little bit. Right? Remember? Oh, well, as long as it's less than 3% of GDP, it's all just fine. Right? It's all roses. Yeah, it's okay. We can go into debt, 2% of GDP a year. It's fine. Now we're talking about, they say the number 5.5. That's not the real number. Because they don't tell you all of the debt. We're going to see even the number that they like to find. Well, we'll use their number. 5.5, 6, 7, 8% of GDP. Now you're going to have rates rising, falling dollar. Now you're like, wait a minute. First of all, the rate, it's rising, but I'm not getting 2.91 on a 10-year note. But the dollar's going to fall 5, 10, 15, 20. Could you imagine over a 10-year period? We'll probably be looking at a dollar that's down, 20, 30, 40%, and you got 2.9. Now, starting on the 26th, at least for crude oil, it's going to start here. I can buy Chinese debt and use that as needed to buy crude oil with, which for most countries that don't have oil, that is the number one import, crude oil. And that's why the Chinese have started there. So now we already have a lot of countries backing out of buying U.S. debt, and now we're going to have even more. Experts warn the growing clout of the Chinese currency in international financial markets could erode the primary use of the U.S. dollar. Of course it's going to. How big is it going to be? I don't know. Here's what I do know. It's going to get bigger every year. Here's what also I know. You think they're just going to go, we're going to stop at crude oil? My guess would be every year we're probably going to see the Chinese add. Right? They already do gold. Now they're doing crude. Right? They're going to pretty much have the entire commodity complex in a number of years. Probably, my guess would be in a handful of years, probably it's going to be. And now all of a sudden, we've got more competition. The International Energy Exchange conducted its final set of tests, trading settlement, quote transmission, and the Chinese Securities and Regulation Commission has formally announced they will launch on March 26th. Now, isn't it interesting that tomorrow we're going to have some tariffs on China? Right? You see what's really here, right? Oh, it's a trade war. It has so much more to do than just simple trade. This is a battle, if you will, of what is going to happen to the quote-unquote last superpower. And when you think about how superpowers come, it's always debt that does us in. The benchmark is significant because it directly challenges the dollar-denominating pricing scheme of the crude oil market. Right? We know, right? They even call it the petrodollar, right? The arrangement dates back to 1974. And there's all kinds of great stories about petrodollars. One of these days, we'll talk about it in length. But that was just one thing that happened. So you got that coming in 5 days. You've got the Bank of England getting ready to raise rates tomorrow, which has got the sterling rising. Then this happened today. The Canadian loonie and the Mexican peso jumped late last night on a report by the Globe and Mail that the United States government has dropped a demand that all vehicles made in Canada and Mexico for export to the United States contain at least 50% of U.S. parts. So this NAFTA re-agreement, if you will, or what have you, apparently, according to the Globe and Mail, the Trump administration has dropped the demand that all U.S., or I should say all cars and trucks and vehicles made in Canada and Mexico must contain at least 50% of parts built in the United States. See, that's what a lot of these foreign automakers do. When they open plants here, most of the engines and the chassis and all the components, right, are manufactured somewhere else, and they just assemble them here in the United States. Apparently, that's not the case in these plants in Canada and Mexico. They've dropped the demand during the North American Free Trade renegotiations last week, which included talks with obviously Canada and Mexico. Auto is the biggest sticking point in the talks. Washington had originally demanded both the 50% of U.S. car content and jacking up an existing requirement for North American content from 62.5% to 85%. Right, so really think about it. What does that really tell you? Right now, the only rule in place is, hey, 62% of the parts have to be manufactured in North America, which means the other, right, obviously the U.S. is not the big player of that. And they also dropped, they wanted it to be 85%, and I'm sure what happened was Ford and GM and Fiat all, let it be known, hey, by the way, we can't make those parts. We shipped all that to China. They own it now. And if you actually want to have cars in the United States, you got to back off. So both of those broke. Very big news, very important news. Both of those putting pressure on the dollar. But the big news really is what's going to happen next week. And like I said, it's going to be, I'm hoping, I don't know, I'm hoping it's going to be gradual. But could you imagine if the rest of the world just decided, you know what? I'm just going to switch all of my oil buying into the Chinese currency, right? Because while the dollar's dropped 10%, right, the Chinese currency's been stable. It's looserly pegged to the dollar. It's not like it was. It used to be totally pegged. If the dollar fell, their currency fell. It doesn't work that way anymore. Yes, the Chinese have control over it and can manipulate it. But most people believe China's a better bet, right? They're still growing at 6% and 7%, and yes, they have a lot of debt. Listen, the Chinese got a lot of debt they need to sell as well. I mean, the competition's heating up, and we can talk all we want about tax cuts and stock buybacks and what's permanent, what's not permanent. We can talk about, what's Jay Powell going to say today? But the bigger news is, and again, you have to step back. I remember a time when they talked, you need to be a long-term investor. Remember all the crap that they told us over the years, right? You're talked about bank rates and how, it's sticky. Even though we've raised rates now going to be 6 times, the bank rates have barely moved. I saw an article. They're trying to say, hey, bank rates are finally moving. You get 0.33% on a 1-year CD from a bank. You can shop it around. I guess there's some internet people that'll give you 2, but it's one of those things, again, where, remember, most people that are over the age of 55, you're supposed to be buying those. That's what you're supposed to buy. Well, at least that was what you're supposed to buy 20 years ago. It's what you're supposed to buy 30 years ago. Now, all of a sudden, it's changed. Right? And it's changed not for the better. Your money's more at risk today than it's ever been. They're forcing you into risky investments. They're not offering you you can't live off the interest of 0.33%. I mean, maybe if you had like $1 billion, you could. And now, here comes the newest currency on the block, the Chinese. 1 week from today, 5 days from today, not even a week, 5 days from today.
This is the Phyllis Schlafly Report, a daily broadcast from Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, and we're upholding the legacy of Phyllis Schlafly, grassroots activist, author of 27 books, and articulate voice for traditional values for more than 70 years. And now, from the archives of Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, here is Phyllis Schlafly.
If history were to give us a list of the 10 most decisive speeches ever given, Patrick Henry's "Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death" speech would surely make the list. Today, on the anniversary of that speech, I think it is useful for us to recall some of his immortal words. Patrick Henry started off by saying, "I have but one lamp by which my feet are guided, and that is the lamp of experience. I know of no way of judging the future but by the past." Henry then recited the unjust conduct of the British during the preceding 10 years, charging that Britain had used the implements of war and subjugation. Patrick Henry explained that the Americans had been trying to get justice from the British to no avail. He asked, "Have we anything new to offer upon the subject?" And he answered his own question, "Nothing." Henry then urged his fellow Virginians not to indulge in the illusions of hope, because our petitions have been slighted, our supplications have been disregarded, and we have been spurned with contempt. Then Patrick Henry really got warmed up. He said, "They tell us that we are weak, unable to cope with so formidable an adversary. But when shall we be stronger? We are not weak if we make a proper use of those means which the God of nature hath placed in our power. There is a just God who presides over the destinies of nations, and who will raise up friends to fight our battles for us. The battle, sir, is not to the strong alone. It is to the vigilant, the active, the brave. Why stand we here idle? Is life so dear, or peace so sweet, as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God. I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death." Those eloquent words of Patrick Henry stirred the Americans to fight the war for our independence, and those words still ring through the centuries and inspire us today.
This has been the Phyllis Schlafly Report from Phyllis Schlafly Eagles. Whether it's the vision of our founding fathers, the courage of our veterans, the moral compass of Christopher Columbus, or the fortitude of presidents like Lincoln and Reagan, the truth of history should not be undercut by liberal ideology. At Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, we honor history even as we look to the future. Join us at phyllisschlafly.com. That's phyllisschlafly.com.
So as the competition is now heating up, we're at a disadvantage, right? Because we've got a lot more debt to sell. And the dollar is in that another cycle, right? In everything, there's cycles, right? There's ups and downs and ups and downs. But as we've told you, since we decided to essentially blow up the United States and really blow up the wealth of the United States, and you see it happening now. They won't say it like that. Right? More and more of the wealth going to less and less of the people through devaluation, which they like to call inflation, through massive, massive deficit spending. And the dollar, which used to be 130 against the basket of currencies, now at, 90, 89, 90? And has all, the ups and the downs, and we always hit lower highs and lower lows. And we're now in another one of the lowers. The last low we hit, right, was, 2011? We got down to, 72? Got back up to about 101, right? The old high was 110. Before that, it was 121. Before that, it was 130. And now we have, think about it. We're going to add $20 trillion of debt in less than 10 years, on top of the 21 we already have. And now, all of a sudden, after all of this time, we got, the Chinese are going to, hey, guess what? You can buy oil in our currency. Which really means, hey, you need to start holding our debt. Which debt would you rather hold? You can hold theirs, right? You can hold the U.S. Their currency is going to lose 10% a year. They're going to get you, whatever the number is, 2-3% interest, maybe, right? Whatever it may be, and you can be net losers of it, right? You can just lose money year after year after year through devaluation, or you can give our currency a try. Right, we pay a higher rate of return. Right, they pay higher interest rates there, and our debt to GDP levels isn't as bad as theirs, and all that other stuff. It's all happening. I'm going to make a tie here, and this is happening. They are surrounding our freedoms. They are attacking us everywhere. I've told you how many times about all the rules they passed. Not through Congress. They don't have to go to Congress. The SEC has adopted that are going to lock you out of your money. I've been warning you. I've told you. I've run commercials about it. Whether you do something about it or not, it's up to you. I don't care. Because here's what I know. Sooner or later, you're calling me. The later you wait, the more it's going to cost. That's it. How about this? This is out of Illinois. And this is just another microcosm of what I'm talking about. The state legislature of Illinois approved Bill HB 1465. It requires all 18 to 20-year-olds to hand over or transfer ownership of illegally possessed what they call assault weapons, which are commonly described as semi-automatic firearms, as well as any magazines that hold more than 10 rounds of ammunition. It's banning the sale of certain types of semi-automatic weapons to individuals under the age of 21. Right now, apparently that this 21 thing, you can enlist in the Army and go get killed somewhere at 18, but you can't own a gun. Well, an assault weapon. Making owning such a weapon by a person under the age of 21 a Class 3 felony, the first offense, a Class 2 felony for the second offense. And they said that they voted 64-51 in the House of Representatives, and then in the Senate 33-22, all in favor, of course. This is another one of those blue states where everybody's leaving. But here's what I want to let you know. Here's what's important in this. And I don't care what side you fall on the gun issue, right? We can debate it all you want, right? And they try to, this type of weapon wasn't around when the Founding Fathers wrote the Constitution, right? But there was better guns and worse guns, right? They didn't write it that, hey, you can only hold the worst gun. That wasn't what it said. That wasn't what it meant. And we can argue that point, and you can say, hey, I think that's a great idea. There's people out there that we don't have to agree on everything. You may think that's a wonderful idea. But here's what you need to understand. They're forcing people to turn over their things, right? You got to transfer ownership or turn it over. And if you think it stops at guns, you're nuts. This is just another one of the examples. This is not the end. Unfortunately, this is the beginning. And they've already, and here's what you don't know, and of course, if you listen here, you do. But 99% of Americans have no idea that when the next crisis comes, that it's coming. Right? This little thing tomorrow with Trump and the tariffs and China on Monday launching the crude oil contracts. Yeah, you don't think they're tied together? They are. They've already put the rules in place. The next crash that's coming, they're going to lock you out. You're not going to be able to get your money out of your money market. You're not going to be able to get your money out of your 401ks or your IRAs. And people are like, oh, no, they won't do that. Yeah, they will. You think the Greeks thought they were going to do it? Right? Can you imagine? Hey, you can withdraw $20 out of your ATM. I want to go to the bank. You know what? I want to close my account. Sorry. No. You know what? We'll let you know when you can, though. Don't worry. It's safe. We're going to keep it right here for safekeeping. You want to call your stock? Well, hey, I want out. You want to fill out the paperwork at your company saying, hey, I want to stop my 401k now. You are and always have been, right? And I've said it all along. None of the stuff that Jerome Powell's little meeting today is not for you. You just don't know. They act like it's for you. It's not. And you know how you know? Who did they bail out the last time? Did they bail out the homeowner? Right? We could have easily have done that for about the same amount of money. No, they bailed out the bank. Patriot Radio News Hour. They're circling the wagon. Patriot Radio News Hour. You never know what you're going to hear. I don't mean to. Listen, Wendy's here. Wendy came in. Nothing for the radio, but wow, she just dropped a bomb on me. Wow. You never know what you're going to hear. Congratulations, Doug. Anyway, 800-951-0592. If you're just joining us, our brand new show in Colorado kicks off today. We have dramatically lowered our prices on Silver Eagles. Right now, silver is $16.43. $16.43. That's $2.32 over spot. And most of you know, for the last, 8 years, 10 years, something like that, about $4 over has been the norm. Even today, $3.25 is about average. $3 you're doing okay. Right, you're doing pretty good. At $3, you're doing pretty good. But $2.32 right this second, $2.32 over spot, $3.75 a roll on U.S. Silver Eagles. And I've talked about the silver to gold ratio. It's almost at 80. It's at 80.6. I mean, that is historically way out of here. By the way, if you want a case, $9,375 for cases of U.S. Silver Eagles today. 800-951-0592. Colorado, you can now get silver right up there. You don't have to pay any shipping cost. If you're new, If you've never ordered from us before, all you need to do, you call the 800 number, and we're not very smart, okay? First of all, we don't call any of our customers, right? We're in sales, but we don't call anybody. We don't harass you. We don't bait and switch. You just call up and you just say, I would like the special. And Arlene, Wendy, me, we're going to respond with, how many would you like? And you just tell us how many rolls you'd like. 1, 5, 10, case, 5 cases, whatever it may be. We're going to lock you in. We're going to give you a trade number. Once you're locked in, once you have that trade number, it doesn't matter what silver does. Trump comes out, announces the tariffs. Bank of England raises rates. China on Monday launches their oil futures contracts in their own currency, and silver goes up $1. We don't call. You don't pay more. You're locked in. If it goes down, you don't get to pay locked. You're locked. We're locked. And now in Colorado, if you want to pick up product, you can do so right at the KHN studios. Just remember, we do everything by appointment. You call here first, we get it locked in, we get it handled, and then we'll set it up for you to pick up your product at the station in Colorado. 800-951-0592. By the way, crude oil is on the move. Up $1.64, 65, over $65 a barrel. Matter of fact, I think Brent crude's now back over 70. Gasoline futures getting ready to take out $2 a gallon. Looks like we're going to have that spike. They've been warning about this driving spike coming in gas. I just saw gas is the highest it's been in Phoenix in a while. When I was driving past the station this morning, it was up again. The third straight day in a row. Well, I don't know about the third. I noticed it yesterday and then again today. So 2 days in a row, gas prices rising. Crude oil inventory is the big driver this time. We actually had draws in crude oil, gasoline, and distillates, and it was not a surprise on the gasoline and the distillates, but it was a surprise that it was an actual drawdown in physical crude, which has led to the spike higher. So we're going to have to keep our eyes out on that as well. You think about the effects that this has. Are we going to see 3? And I know some places already got to 3. Are we going to see close to $3 gasoline all over the country and the effects that it's going to have? I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen. I just find it interesting that we've got crude oil spiking and the Chinese getting ready to launch the crude oil futures, and then, of course, the Trump administration getting ready to announce. And there's been talk whether it's $30 billion or $60 billion worth of tariffs on the Chinese, and that's supposed to happen tomorrow. You tell me. Coincidence or orchestrated event? You know which side of the fence I'm on. All of this is planned. And whether or not you prepare is up to you. I always say be your own central bank and start putting it away. By the way, just so you know, and I've got it on the website, if you're looking for gold, I'm running it again because I can't believe that so many. I don't know what happened, but there's been a ton of $5 gold pieces come onto the market in the last few weeks. I'm at $3.55 on a $5 Liberty still. So great gold price on fractional material, $355 on the $5 libs. But the price of the deal of the day is in the Silver Eagle market at $3.75. Take the time, put it away. You're going to be glad you did, especially, buying it that close to spot. We haven't seen that. I actually don't remember. I just don't. I don't remember selling Silver Eagles. I think the cheapest price I remember, we got to $250 for a while, but I remember we couldn't really get any, so it really didn't matter. And then for most of the last 4 or 5 years, we've been about $4 over spot. So U.S. Silver Eagles at $2.32 over spot right this second. $375 a roll at 800-951-0592. Final segment coming up. Final segment, Patriot Radio News Hour, 800-951-0592. Don't forget this afternoon, 3 o'clock Colorado time, the new show, the Front Range Hour, coming to you, celebrating our brand new office, U.S. Silver Eagles, $375 a roll. Just incredible pricing there. $5 gold liberties, the old ones. Oh, another incredible price, $355. 800-951-0592. The White House plans to announce a package of tariffs tomorrow, penalizing the Chinese, they're saying, for intellectual property theft. And here's what's funny. Call it what you want. Right? The Chinese said, hey, here's going to be the rule to play in China. And you know what we said? Okay, we'll give you everything. Obviously, stupidest idea ever, yet we did it. Now we're going to try to undo it. Here's the part I found was funny, though. The measure will not include restrictions on Chinese investments in the United States or student visas. Hey, listen, we'll still take your money if you want to give it to us. Don't worry, man. We're not going to do that. I guess we'll see how interested they are in investing. The timing of the announcements and the scope of the tariffs are still in flux. The president wanted $60 billion in tariffs. Right now, I'm hearing $30 billion. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm not sure what all the details are going to be, but that's the details as we know it. An announcement expected tomorrow on tariffs on Chinese-made goods entering the United States. And, of course, you'll see, I heard, like, Jim Cramer talking today, oh, what a terrible idea, and it's gonna hurt the stock market, and he's right. If you believe the stock market represents America, then it's bad. Of course, we know it doesn't. Part of the reason why the stock market's so high is they've all left. The intellectual property's over there, the factories are over there, the jobs are over there. I mean, here's the trade-off. We're going to have to pay more for everything, right? We're going to have to get the minimum wage about $30 an hour. I mean, think about what we're talking about, deficits that are going to be $3 and $4 trillion a year, and it's not. And I'm not talking in 2042. Right? I'm talking about this is going to have the next 5 to 10 years. That's going to be the reality. We're going to have to. Minimum wage is going to have to go to 30. We got to bring all the jobs back. The Dow's going to have to go down to about 10,000. And that's just how it's going to have to be. And I'll go back to when they first did it and went and took us off the gold standard, took the world off the gold standard. Richard Nixon said it better than anybody. As long as Americans buy American, it'll be okay. Going to be expensive. Yeah, you bet. But, I mean, that's the only way it's the only way possible. How else can you pay for this stuff? How can we run $3 and $4 trillion a year deficits and pay $1 trillion+ a year in interest? And that's, like I said, that's avoiding anything horrible from happening. U.S. Silver Eagles, man, I can't believe $375, $5 libs, $355, 800-951-0592. Colorado will be back 3 o'clock. Don't miss it.